I'm going to show how the retargeter works and why it's useful. I have a single bone here. I'm going to go into the front viewport. I want to create two more bones, one for each arm. Shift D. I'm going to turn on my move gizmo, rotate, and then hold the control key to snap it to angles. I don't really need to do this, but I'm going to put this close to the center line, but I'm going to make a new one for the other arm and put this way away from the center line, just to show that it's not necessary. Even I'll put it up a little higher, and then we'll animate these bones in pose mode. So on the first frame, and I know I need both of these bones, so I'm going to shift click that and add a key set of rotation and add that key using that button. You can also hit the I key to add keys. I'm going to bring this to frame 20 and rotate these in different directions. I can hit A to select all the bones, but this isn't animated, so it's not necessary to include that in the keys. Then over 4 here, I can, over frame 40, I can Alt R, okay, or which can be really convenient for some, I can copy the first frame. So make sure all the bones are selected. Come down here, put your cursor over here, Shift D to duplicate that key, first key, and then it just goes back to where it was. And you can keep doing that. There's also a ping pong modifier in here that you can use to get the same job done. Alright, but we're only going to export up to frame 40. We don't need to do that, but I just want to show how it's done. Let's go into the visual snap mapper and map our bones now. So I'm just going to click action, and I know that I want the shoulder bones to be the ones that are these targets, or these sources rather. So I'm going to say map these bones. You can see that here. And the same thing up here. Map these bones. Now reset the retargeter. I'm going to reset the template mapper, go over to the retargeter, and I'll give it a little distance so you can see what's happening, and action. And when I scrub the timeline, you'll see that I get the expected motion. But let's say I want to add a leg. So I'll add a leg. First I'll reset the stage. Go into the edit mode. I'll go in the front viewport. I'll just take one of these and I'll see what kind of animation it produces, because it's probably going to have an animation on that. Nope, it didn't, so that's okay. Yeah, because the animation is associated with the name of the bone. Okay, so we'll create another one for this. I'm going to make this the leg, and just to make it really goofy, I'll put the leg way up here, even though the leg's going to be way down there. And I will do I for the first key and rotate the leg that way. I for the second key, and then on frame 40 I will Alt R to reset the rotation, and I'd insert a key. Then I will go and action the retargeter again, and I'm going to put the animation into frame 20 for its extreme pose so you can see what's going on here. Now when I go into the interactive retargeter, it's just like the snap mapper. I can select a bone on the target and a bone on the source and say add bones, and now it matches the orientation of this bone. So while this is really goofy alone, when you put the retargeter on, you'll see the expected result. So if there are some goofy things with your rig, they're not exact or whatever, you don't have to worry about it. We're just dealing with rotations or bone orientations. So now turn off the interactive feature. The proxy rig is still selected, and I can export my animation from that motion reference. I'll loop the animation. I always loop for testing, but you don't have to. And once the animation is exported, I can reset the retargeter, and you should, so you don't run into issues later. Now let's go into Second Life and see what happened. And I get expected results. So you can name your bones anything you like. Doesn't matter. Use the visual snap mapper to identify your target.